think the key here, as far as Gladwyn is concerned, is he modeled his career after his parents and the role model that they presented. We were very proud of our parents. Parents owned a mixed farm operation there that included milking cows and raising hogs and cattle and chickens, and there were always daily chores to be done. Our dad was the manager and the catcher for the McConnell baseball team, and he would hit fly balls to us by the hour, including our sisters. In fact, depending on who you talk to, there's a rumor out that the sisters were better ball players than the guys. That's only a rumor, mind you.
The very first time I ever met Gladwyn was interviewing him about going into the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. When you think back on him receiving that honor, what do you think that meant to him?
Oh, it meant a great deal. He still wears his Baseball Hall of Fame jacket at all sporting events that he goes to. So that tells you the story right there. It was very important to him. He got recognition that he deserved, and he appreciated it.
He's left a legacy with so many people and had an impact in so many people's lives in many different ways. I remember Rhonda Denbo telling me he was her first ball coach. She and another gal, Karen Kurtenbach, played on his hardball team. And Gladwyn always pumped everybody's tires. He would tell everyone that Karen and Rhonda, even though it was a boys' ball team, they were his two best players. She said he always had a way of making you feel so special, and that's very true.
He had a lot of experience that I ended up using later on in my admin career, right up until I retired from Lord Selkirk School Division. So, yeah, I mean, we connected on a lot of levels, and he was a father figure to me, and probably outside of my own parents and a couple of really strong mentors that I had in my earlier years. Gladwyn was just a constant support, mentor and friend and confidant.
I started with the High School Athletic Association as executive director in 1974. I got a call from Gladwyn my first week into the job, and I'd met him the year earlier at Canada Games. He phoned me up, and in his very methodical voice and style, he says, "Hi Mo, this is Gladwyn. Welcome to the job, and we have a Zone 9 meeting Thursday in Hartney, and it would be great if you could come." And I said, "Yeah, of course." And I hang up the phone, and then I think, what's a Hartney? And I'm a Winnipeg boy, I'd never heard of Hartney, but I came to the meeting and I met a lot of lifelong friends in Zone 9. My first real impression with high school athletics was Gladwyn getting me to my first zone meeting and inviting me.
He was my high school hockey reporter. That's what he did for, I couldn't even tell you, man, how many years. I have no idea. And that's what he did. He was like, every week, Gladwyn and I talked Sunday nights. It was like one of those things where it's just like, I always knew it was coming Sunday night. Forbesy, you know what I mean? And it was just like one of those, yep, okay, then we'll have our 15-minute conversation. And even in the off season, he'd be phoning and say, what's going on with ball, or what are my kids doing, or something like that. So it's been years, man, years and years with Gladwyn.
The soul of a man. What would you say about Gladwyn Scott, just the human being?
Gladwyn was a faithful man. He wasn't perfect, but he was faithful in so many ways. Faithful to his family, to his community, to God, how he perceived him, to the church. Just faithful. I mean, he made mistakes like all of us, but above all, he had this core of integrity that was wonderful to work with and to be around. And I was thinking of what word to describe him. It would be an encourager.
Well, I guess the first question I wanted to ask you about, Al, is that iconic photo of you sliding into home plate representing Team Canada, and there's Gladwyn on the third baseline. Is there a special story that coincides with that action shot of you two?
As you could see in the photo, he was chasing me into home plate. We were playing the team from Mexico, and he was hollering at me to slide, and the catcher of the Mexican team had placed his mask right on home plate, which of course is what catchers do. And Gladwyn was just having a good time and telling me to go.
You know, we've talked a lot about sports with Gladwyn and how much he loved organizing, volunteering, coaching, etc. But we all know that there was that one true love in his life.
Oh yeah, because like they were good friends of our parents. Like they came to us, and then they got to be friends of ours, of mine and Lindsay's, and then our kids all got to know him. So our whole family loved them both. And I know that one of the stories was when we were playing baseball in the front yard, and Gladwyn, I don't know if you know, he would always say, "Now Marguerite," and then he'd go on to talk. So we laughed because Marguerite went back to catch a fly ball in the rose bush, and she fell in, and so she couldn't get out. I mean, you couldn't put your hands down. And in his calm demeanor, he says, "Now Marguerite, you just stay still and we'll get you out." And we finally got her out. And little did we know, she was pregnant with Michelle when she was in there, and he was still calm, like, "Now Marguerite." You know, it was fun. And we did have lots of memories like that. And I do remember him in high school, in grade 8. I never saw him mad but once. And he got mad at this kid. He was bad, this kid in grade 8. And he wouldn't get up to leave the room. So Gladwyn went over, picked the desk up with him in it, carried it out, and plunked it in the hall.
I've always believed at the end of one's life, your contributions will be measured on the number of people you helped along the way. And I think, as everyone here today knows, Gladwyn helped a lot of people along his life. So Gladwyn, in that sense, you got an A+, being the academic you were. Gladwyn was a youth hockey coach of mine growing up in Souris, and the thing I learned from Gladwyn right away was the drive to win. And probably the only other guy that I can think of that had a similar drive would be Glennis. Those two Scott brothers and their determination was something to behold. You know, Gladwyn and I, my wife Ruth and I, share a story that when I was going out with Ruth and I was a young hockey coach, you know, she asked me to do a ballroom dancing course with her, and I politely said, "Well, I think you need to learn a little bit about the game of hockey." So Gladwyn was offering a level 1 Hockey Manitoba coaching seminar at Grand University, and Ruth decided to take that with the idea that I would do the ballroom dancing afterwards. And she did do that course and actually coached a bit in Switzerland after that. But you know, Gladwyn would constantly remind me every summer whether we had taken that ballroom dancing course yet. And at this particular point of our life, I haven't taken it. But Gladwyn meant so much to so many people and to me, and I just want to say thank you, Gladwyn.